Welcome to the Primetime 585 podcast. I'm Karen Iglesia, co-founder of Primetime 585. In studio, the best producer in the land. I got Julio. And of course, I have a special guest. I've got Coach Fitch. We're going to chop it up with him throughout the show, and we have an entire segment later on. Welcome, Coach Fitch. And we're going to do all his introduction later because it's too long. That's going to take too much time. That's a whole show to put his bio up on here. And, of course, we got Jake in the back making sure that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. And, of course, the luckiest man in Section 5 history, Coach Fitch, because he's married to me, I consider him the absolute luckiest man because he got me.
He is blessed, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I want Coach
You're supposed to
Fitch.
be on my side,
I
man.
want Coach Fitch on this show every single week now. You heard what he said, right? And he is the absolute, he got a wife. He understands that he's lucky. We're going to end on that. We're not even going to go anywhere.
I got one quick thing to say, okay? Not because last week we had Joey Carter on.
Yeah.
And he spoke glowingly of his wife, Dr. Keisha Carter.
Right.
Yeah. And then we're driving on the way home, and you said, I really you could tell that they have a great relationship, Joey and his wife.
Yep.
What kind of relationship do we have?
I've been, Coach Fitch, this is how I look at it. We've been together 32 years. At this point, I think I did a bid. Murderers been out of jail.
They got sentenced in 94 when we met.
They're out of jail. I'm still in jail. I am still doing a bid, Coach Fitch. I'm just saying.
You got a long sentence.
All right, we're going to start with some softball action. We got Eastridge versus Webster Schrader. So this is two undefeated teams coming into this game. Eastridge have a bunch of talented athletes, and so does Webster Schrader. Both teams came in undefeated. Jalissa Crittenden pitched a shutout, 6 strikeouts. In the 5th, Emma Johnson connected a 2-out single, scoring Harper Kuhn, giving Eastridge a 1-0 lead. Taylor Schmidt, 1 out, scoring single in the 6th inning. Drew, talk about this game.
It was really good because, Schrader is a powerhouse,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Eastridge, they have a coach who came in from Victor a few years ago, and she's just turned that program around.
But when you got the Simber sisters, right? You got Jocelyn Simber and Marley Simber. For people who don't know about Jocelyn, we used to call her JJ, the ponytail ninja girl. Yeah. So people don't know, she is an athlete. Yeah. A tremendous athlete, y'all.
Yeah, she used to compete in ninja competitions.
Yes, and do very well.
Yeah.
So every sport she plays volleyball. She's like a 3-sport athlete. She is just absolutely dominant. Jocelyn Simber was 2 for 3. Tiara TT Green, another basketball player from Eastridge, right? She was 2 for 3. Marley Simber added a single.
TT she's a softball player.
I know, but you know what? I thought that she was... So she's a basketball player, but she said she prefers softball. She's so good at basketball. Yeah. I thought she considered herself a basketball player playing softball, but it's actually she considered herself a softball player playing. So okay.
Well, when you go 2 for 3 against Schrader,
yes.
you're pretty good there.
And Schrader their coach and the coach, their coach is extremely good. Mm-hmm. They're actually one of the talented coaches in Section 5. But Eastridge, man, as I said, that coach came and turned that program around. They got the 2-0 win. They remain undefeated on the season.
Yeah, for Schrader, Sophia Smith, 2 for 3.
And Schrader, they also lost to Russian Ritter last night.
Did they lose or was it postponed a little bit?
No,
Did they cut it off for the rain?
No.
Okay.
It was a complete game.
Okay.
But Russian Ritter got the Buttles girls.
Yeah.
That came over from Aquinas. So, you know what? But I like to see all of this good competition in softball. Mm-hmm. I'm all about that life. I love to see it. Eastridge came up with the win. Congratulations to the Lancers. They're undefeated, Gerard. They are undefeated on the season. Let's go to Canandaigua versus Irondequoit softball. This is such a great story. I love this story. Canandaigua, Coach Fitch, they only won 1 game last year as a team. And so you're coming in a team like that, you know that they're working hard, you know that they're putting in the time. And one of the things they said to me was like, we never thought we would ever get interviewed by Primetime, right? And we just happened to pick a game that they won. And for them, they put that time in. So I like especially girls' sports. You're a girl, Dad, you understand.
No doubt.
When girls go in, so they got their first win of the season against Irondequoit, and they won again last night. So congratulations to them on that.
Cool.
Aubrey Cole hits a base-loaded ground, and Delilah Smith scores from third, make it 1-0. Goodell was at bat 5 times, 2 hits, 1 run and an RBI. Alyssa Curtis,
yeah.
2 runs for 3 RBI. Gerard finished wrapping that game up.
Delilah Smith, she was at bat 3 times. She had a run and 3 RBIs. Yeti Ruiz Figueroa had 3 runs, 3 hits, and an RBI. Taylor Allison, 2 at bats. She got 2, scored 2 times. And like you said, first win for Canandaigua, good for them.
I loved it. And for around the court, Olivia Cooley was 3 at bats, 1 run, 1 hit. Anna Ortiz, 3 at bats, 1 RBI. So, you know, what I'm saying is we are going to try to do more softball. When you see a team like Eastridge playing and you see the Simba girls and you see Jalissa and you see all this stuff, you get excited about softball. But this rain and this spring weather is,
it's getting better, finally.
It's breaking. Well, last night we got caught in some lightning. So we got caught in literally lightning trying to run from Thomas last night.
Yep.
So congratulations to Canandaigua. As I said, I just love a good story. So let's go on to Fairport versus Hilton baseball. This was covered by our guy, Jack Scotney. You know Jack Scotney, coach.
Of course.
Yeah, that's your guy. That's your guy. You know, I'm going to talk about you. We're going to talk about that later on in your segment, how you're giving even the primetime kids just some respect and airtime. And so we're going to talk about Jack Scotney later in your segment. But Scotney covered this game, Fairport versus Hilton. Okay, so this is your guys. Sam Roselli, 6 strikeouts over 6 innings. He also singled, walked, and scored. Garrett McNeil singled twice and scored. Matt Swan, an RBI single. Alex Grada doubled. Nate Chafee tossed a perfect inning in relief. Drew Gruber, 2 RBIs, double in the 5th. What happened with Hilton, Gerard?
Hilton Chase, give me the hard name, why don't you?
I always do. I call him Chase P. Populars or whatever.
Populars?
Yep.
Yeah, he doubled and pitched an inning and 2/3 of relief. And Callan Willahan pitched 3 1/3 innings.
Fairport is now 4-0. And as a matter of fact, I think since this game, they won again last night. So I think they're actually 5-0. Roselli, man, he's a talent. So since this is your people, a lot of these guys on the basketball team are also baseball players. Yeah. So you got Dan Russell. You got Alex Gray.
John Russell.
I'm sorry.
You never said Dan
No,
Russell
because
before.
there's 2 of them. Isn't there a Dan?
There's 2.
Yeah.
There is 2. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 of them because he pitched last night. Dan is the pitcher last night. That's why it's in my head.
Gerard, you don't question her. You know that.
Can we just have
come
Coach
on.
Finch every single week over here? Okay. So these guys are tremendous athletes. One of the questions I asked to you was early on in my interview, I said, what is it like having all these athletes? And this baseball team, you got Russell, Sam Roselli, Alex Grada, even Gruber was on your team.
Gruber and Swan.
So you had like 6 of these guys are actually your team. Talk about that.
Yeah, makes it easy to coach when you got great athletes. That's what it means. No, I mean, they're talented. Like, they're such competitors. I think that's where we get the benefit of that in basketball. But any sport they play, these kids go out and get after it. So they're a really special group.
And John Russell and Grada, they're both D1 players for baseball.
Roselli
And
Russell.
What did I say?
Great.
Grada is
Yeah.
He's
Great soccer, man. You got too
Listen,
many-
everybody
got
over
too many
there.
D1 athletes.
Yeah, you get a D1 scholarship. You get a D1 scholarship. Alex Grada is going D1 for soccer. He was All-American.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 D1 baseball players who also just happen to play basketball. Wow. And we're going to talk about that actually later on, too.
But their baseball team's impressive, though.
They're undefeated. When you're on the, I mean,
strong.
what I like about the Fairport and Penfield do this thing called the Cancer Game, and in May we always cover it. Alan, my son Alan, you know, he's on the scale.
Yeah.
He actually designed the shirt for this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we shout out to both Fairport and Penfield communities for asking Alan, because he got a degree in graphic arts, and he did the base design for that shirt. So I'm kind of excited to go cover this game and get me a shirt with my son design. I love it. All right, so let's go to some more baseball. Wayne versus School of the Arts baseball. This was, listen, Jack Scotney and Jake covered this game. So Wayne is a Class A team. They're doing good. Wayne is up here trying to say, wait a minute, we Wayne, but don't play with us, right? Coach Briggs has been coaching, I think this is his 5th year. Wayne got going early, Gerard, in the first inning. Let's talk about this game. Go ahead.
Yeah, Aiden Twist and Caleb Celso. They both singled, and Colby Frechette drove a triple in the gap to bring them home for a 2-0 lead. Soda answered back and grabbed momentum. Paul Stevens singled. James Laver was hit by a pitch. Now the bases became loaded. Soda took a 4-2 lead in the third. They included another run. Now they're up 5-2 in the fourth. But then Wayne exploded in the fourth. The base was stacked.
Was stacked,
with base runners with Twist, Frechette, and Welker. Frechette with the second triple to help rally Wayne. Brady grew
Judici.
That's Jake's cousin.
No, Jake's brother.
I'm all messed up today, man.
You got Coach Fitch in here and you're just losing your mind. That's Jake's brother.
Jake's brother.
He came in off the bench and delivered a deep double. Connor Crawford followed with a single. Twist with 2 RBI. Celso was 4 for 4 with a double, 2 runs and 7 strikeouts. Twist 2 for 3 with a double, a walk, 2 runs and 3 strikeouts. And I think Wayne is still undefeated, Jake. They are still undefeated. Do you know what this means, Gerard? They about to get on Jake to get us to come to a game. They're going to be like, prime time. We got the inside track. First of all, Jake's brother is on the team.
Yeah, so Jake said, don't cover them.
So you already know they're going to be they're going to let me live until we come to a game. I think they got the 1-0 win, 1-0 win last night. Okay. So they're undefeated. So they're going to hang in there with, who else is in Class A, Jake? HFL good though. Oh, Sutherland too? Ooh, okay. I like it. All right. So that's our baseball love. We got to go to some girls lacrosse. So Coach Fitch, I just got into lacrosse. I ain't even gonna lie to you. If I probably discovered lacrosse when Anthony was in school, I might've, woulda, coulda. I like it.
It's fun. It's fun. It's action-packed. Like, girls and boys, man.
It's basketball with a stick. They set pick.
It's up and down.
It's pick and roll.
Yeah.
When you get 2 talented teams on top of that.
Yeah.
I've never, before I started covering this, I didn't even know how many people played lacrosse on the team. Like, I had no idea. I love covering lacrosse because it's an action pack.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Your kids never played? None of your kids played lacrosse?
My daughter played travel for a long time and she had a hip injury, so it backed her out. So she's doing flag now. But no, I grew up in the lacrosse little scene, and I kind of I guess I grew a great love for it and a great passion for it, because you can see how basketball translates to lacrosse.
Oh, yeah.
Your big time coaches will make that translation all the time. So great sport.
But the parents, whew. So I ain't gonna say nothing else. I don't want to get banned.
That's every sport.
No, lacrosse parents. even Coach Fitch is like,
That's because he don't want the basketball parents to come after him.
They're passionate.
They're passionate. That's a good way to put it. They're very passionate. No doubt.
They are passionate. That's all I'm going to say is lacrosse parents, they are passionate. Because, you see, we're by the sidelines, so you could hear everything.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, they passionate. That's all I'm going to say. Don't come at your girl. Don't come at your girl. I'm just saying. All right, so 2 very good teams in Mercy versus Brighton. Gerard, let's talk about this game. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the half, Mercy was leading 6-4. They scored 6 goals in the first quarter.
Yeah.
All right, Sydney Cook, like you said, they came out winning 10-6. Sydney Cook with 2 goals and an assist. Mia Quadrello with 2 goals and an assist. Maddie Craig, 3 assists. Maeve Shanahan, 4 goals and an assist. Angeline Borelli with a goal, and Catherine Crowley with a goal. Oh, also,
Eleanor Mayer, she had 15 saves to earn that win, and you have they were firing all shots at her. For Brighton, though, Lucy Peters with 2 goals, Sarah Solomon with a goal, Eva Holbrook with 2 assists, Lee Zimmerman with a goal, Audrey Madison also with 1 goal. This game was covered by our girl, Anna Lemke. As a coach, we got some students that's working with us, our youth council. And I swear, I keep saying it every week, they going to call Child Protective Services on us because these kids be getting their parents to drive them everywhere to cover these games for Scottney's mom and dad. drive him wherever he wants to go cover game. And Anna Lemke, who's Cade Lemke's relative, right? You see how all of that come together? You see that? I know you recognize the name.
No question.
So she covers games for us, and she attends Brighton. So we're using these kids.
No
Listen,
question.
we are using the heck out of these kids.
But you think about the experience they're getting, it's incredible, you know, and they're going to be able to translate that. So you guys are providing an amazing opportunity for them.
And they love it. They love it. They absolutely, absolutely love it.
Yeah, and Jack Scotney, for instance, that's something he wants to do in life later on.
Awesome.
By the time he's done with college, he'll have 10 years of experience
covering sports and interviewing. Can you imagine being 24?
Crazy. No.
And on top of that, guess what he got? He got his own pre-show. A national show.
The Elite Awards,
The Elite Awards. We have an Elite Award. You know the Elite Awards. And there's a red carpet show where the kids come in early, and like the red carpet, you interview. That's his own show. It's called the Jack Scotney Show. That kid is a freshman in high school, got his own national show because it airs all over the nation. And the opportunities that we do give them, but they also, he wants to get better. He wants to learn. And, it was funny because he interviewed you, right?
Yeah.
And one of the people, another coach texts me and says, he seems so cool and calm. Does he understand he's interviewing USA basketball Scott Finch? Why does he seem so cool? I said, he's practicing. He's practicing. And you and Coach Ellis of Penfield always grant him an interview, always so caring, knowing that he's young, answering his questions. And, so those are things that he could put on his resume. So you also help give him, give him that experience. So we really, really appreciate you. And he is, as I said, very good.
No doubt.
So congratulations. Mercy got that win. So Penfield versus Pittsford. Now this game, woo, Gerard.
That was a game. These are two top-tier teams.
Top tier.
I think, did Penfield win states last year?
Yes, they won states last year. Pittsburgh is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So this game, was between two of the top teams with top athletes in Section 5. Yeah. This was a back and forth game. I don't think no team was up by more than 2 goals, right, Gerard? Right?
That's right, yeah.
Peyton Rothfuss, she's different, right? Mm-hmm. She scored a tying goal with 5 minutes to go. Whitney Reynolds with the winning goal with about the 2-minute mark, right? Mm-hmm. So go ahead, finish this game, Gerard.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was close throughout. It was tied 5-5 at the half, tied 10-10 at the end of the third. Mm-hmm. It's just, like you said, a lot of great athletes playing, some scholarship players in there. Karis Hands.
That's literally her name.
Yeah.
She got hands.
She's a goalie. She made some spectacular saves. She finished with 8 saves. This was the first loss for Pittsford. Avery Fordham and Peyton Rothfuss had 4 goals each.
And 1 assist,
Yep, and Peyton also had 1 assist. Lexi Corcoran had 2 goals. Olivia Reed, she caused 5 turnovers, and that's big. Because if the other team don't have the ball, they can't score.
So real quick, the only losses that Penfield have is out of Section 5 teams. Mm-hmm. That's all they have is out of Section 5. Yeah. Pittsburgh, now that was their first loss. The final score was 12-11. And then the Pittsburgh girls went to go catch them last night, right?
Yeah.
And then they were playing Webster Thomas. The game got postponed due to lightning, but they were up. I think Jake was at the end of the first quarter. And they were
52 seconds left in the first quarter. I think it was 7-2.
It was 7-2.
Yeah.
So they were leading. That game will be played again. We'll continue at a different date, but they got the win. Let's go to some boys across. Okay, so McQuaid versus Aquinas. You already know. I mean, it's McQuaid, Aquinas. They could be playing ping pong, tic-tac-toe. No matter. It is going down. But McQuaid was just too much for Aquinas. McQuaid got the 14-3 win. Jack Scotney also covered this game at the half. McQuaid was comfortably leading 7-2, Gerard. Give me some goals for these McQuaid boys.
Joe DeMarco, he led with 5 goals. Man, them DeMarcos, they just keep coming in all different sports.
I think that they got 4 boys. I think he's the last one. I think maybe there's a younger one.
There might be a younger one.
There might be a younger one there. It's like you are a DeMarco, you're a DeMarco. Yeah, and they all play sports and they're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good.
Well, Joe had 5 goals yesterday. Mm-hmm. Dominic Camarello had 2 goals and an assist. Dominic Bianchi, 2 goals and an assist. John Burrows, 4 goals, 4 assists.
He's very, very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Hudson Troya, 2 assists.
Wait, before you go past Hudson, Hudson's one of the best skiers in
Skiers,
Section 5.
right? Yeah.
He was the skier of the year.
Wow.
He is one of the best skiers in Section 5. Go ahead.
Okay, Maddox Felton with an assist, Bryce Pitt an assist, and Jackson Palladino 13 saves.
Yeah, he's good too. Dominic Giangreco went 9 for 10 from face-off.
Wow.
He surpasses 600th career face-off win. Another talent. McQuaid, I mean, Aquinas is good too. It's just McQuaid is just tough. They just got weapons on weapons on weapons. Jake Gibson set a school record, Gerard, for career saves is 575 plus, surpassing the 569 saves prior. Cam Stewart with a goal, Antonio Valerie with 1 goal, Chase Acker with 1 goal and an assist, Parker Wegman with 1 assist, and Jack Bell with 1 assist. McQuaid got the win. Congratulations to McQuaid. All right, so Gerard, we got to keep going. Brighton versus Penn Yan. Now, let me tell y'all something. So, Fitch, I don't know if you know Penn Yan's history with lacrosse. Do you know their history?
Heck yeah, how do you not know it?
Okay, all right, my bad, coach, my bad, coach.
Come on, they're legit.
They're a small school,
Yeah.
small program, but listen.
They play big.
Yes, they do.
They
play
play big.
big. They play up. So this is playing up 2 classes for them. Now, I got impressed with Penn Yan because obviously, if you like lacrosse, you're going to be impressed with Penn Yan. That's just
They won states last year.
they're the real deal. They got these Braden Finger. They just got a bunch of Tucker Fisher, Gigliotti, all of those guys, right? But Brighton is playing. They're special this year. They are special. They beat McQuaid for the first time in 21 years.
It's a big one.
That's a big win for Brighton.
Yeah.
First time in 21 years they beat. Now, Penn Yan, they've never beaten Penn Yan in their history of playing Penn Yan.
Right.
They beat Penn Yan 12-11. Wow. And that just shows you the quality of opponents. That's working on your program.
No question.
And they worked on that program. First time in school history to beat Penn Yan. The game was actually very tied going into the third. Kiki Condon with 3 goals and 2 assists. He's only a sophomore. Red Woke. That's his name. I like his name alone. He gets 1 point from me. His name is Redmond Woke. They call him Red Woke, only a 7th grader. That kid is 11 or 12 or whatever it is, right? He's
crazy.
still on juice boxes, right? And he all here had 2 goals and 2 assists. Austin Flom with 2 goals, 2 assists. He's a sophomore. Tim Taranjo with 2 goals and assists. Gavin Hayslip was 13 for 27 from faceoff. Now, that might not be the best face-off average, but there's a reason why he's 13 for 27 from face-off, because he went against Grayson Hathaway, who's only, I think, a sophomore, and he's one of the best face-off guys in Section 5 from Penn Yan. So both of these guys kind of split. I love to see it. And Logan Serve was in goal for 11 saves. So, Gerard, tell me some Penn Yan stats.
Miles Ditzel, he's a junior. He had 4 goals and an assist. Braden Finger. Star of last year's championship game.
Yep.
2 goals and an assist. Mike Gigliot, 2 goals and an assist. Tucker Fisher, he's still there.
Yeah, he's a
2
senior.
goals. And Levi Fisher, also a senior, he had a goal. And go ahead, Grayson Hathaway.
Real quick. Yeah, Grayson Hathaway, 54% from faceoff. But remember what you just said about Braden Finger? Tell Coach Fitch what happened in is it the championship game?
Are you talking about the interview? Or
No, I'm talking about the.
why don't you tell it? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. You just said he had one of the best performances in the
okay.
finals.
Yeah.
He strapped that team on his. They're playing a top team out of
one of the top
Island?
teams in the nation.
In the nation.
I think they had a goalie who was a Syracuse commit.
Yep, he was a Syracuse commit. Yep.
He's at Syracuse now, I believe.
Yeah,
And they had multiple D1 athletes.
I think the team was from
that
either.
team.
I think
It was Long Island.
Long Island. Yeah.
I think. But anyway,
they were down.
They were down, I think, 4-0 right off the bat, quick. And he just said, "Nah, I ain't losing. I'm not losing." And he was like getting pushed and diving on the floor and throwing it in. He had some spectacular goals. Real talent.
When I say that, I've never seen a performance where he said, he literally, I think he finished off with, the final score was like 8-7 or whatever it was. He had 7 of the goals. He strapped the team and says, I am not going home. I love performances like that. We're going to talk about about performances like that were in your segment. But man,
That's
when I
special.
said, yeah, they're special. That's part of being an athlete. There's some athletes that just can't lose and won't lose, and that's just how I look at him. He one of the best performances I've seen in a state championship game. All right, let's go on to Victor versus. We're gonna go to the flag football, coach. His daughter's playing flag football. Okay, his daughter's playing flag football. So, Victor versus Pittsburgh Flag. What I like about this game, this was the autism up game. And autism up, so you know, Coach Fitch, our son Alan is on the scale. And autism up, you know, they do a fantastic job in this community, especially for adult children. And this was the autism up game where Victor versus Victor was playing. They were hosting Pittsburgh Flag.
Yeah.
Victor got some athletes. Gerard, talk about this game. We were like pleasantly surprised. They are undefeated still. Go ahead, Gerard.
Yeah, Alexa Cummings, she had 17 carries for 106 yards and 3 TDs. This is for Victor. Bryn Colhane, 17 carries for 70 yards. Lily Widener and Emily Galea with 6 flag pulls for a very impressive defense that held Pittsburgh to 0 points. Addison Ford, Alexa Cummings, and Olivia Widener, each with an interception.
Congratulations. Victor was extremely impressive. So we're going to talk about flag real quick. Coach, your daughter is playing flag.
Yeah.
How important is it for these young girls to have another option for a spring sport that you have seen, not only as a coach, but as a father?
Yeah, no, it's so cool. You know, especially autumn. You know, it's a sport that I feel like a lot of girls are playing just to have fun and have something new. And what a great experience for them. You go out there and you can feel the joy on the field. You know, as mentioned before, I feel like we haven't ruined the sport yet, you know, with our travel and people getting psycho over it. You know, I feel like there's still a joy about it. And so for me as a dad, it's been awesome. Amazing experience, actually.
And you know what? I love seeing, especially this is a game where you just need a flag.
Yeah.
And a football.
Yeah.
I think it's the equalizer in sports for me because I'm about sports equality for city kids, for suburban kids, and for rural kids having the same exact opportunities in sports. And I think flag is the best equalizer when you're talking about equality in sports because it doesn't take much for everybody. Rural teams are doing it and everybody can do it. And you're right, they haven't ruined the sport yet. It's coming though.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, but
Yeah, they'll be having NIL deals and everything.
Well, because it's going to be a Division I sport in about, I think it might be a year or two. It'll be a D1 sport. But not only that, it went from 8 teams to 43 teams in 3 years.
Yeah.
The Bills, the Giants, and the Jets put in hundreds of thousands of dollars in there, which is smart.
it's real smart. They know that that's a group that they can market to that hasn't grown the sport. So, you know, they're extremely smart, but it's also a fun sport. And I think the girls are getting the reward of that. So I'm cool with it.
I love seeing, like, soccer players just seem to dominate the sports to me. Soccer
And
girls
basketball
and
players.
basketball girls just look so different on the field, and you could just tell. Like, when I interview girls, like, what other sport? Like, some of the girls I do know. Like, I know your daughter's a tennis player. Like, it's a sport where if you are a athlete, you could just do really, really well in. So I love covering it. I love to see the athleticism, but I love to give girls additional options because if you don't play lacrosse and you don't play softball, you don't have any much choices left for a spring sport. And I'm a strong believer. Idle time is a devil's playground. I believe in keeping people busy, especially girls, because that's how they get in trouble.
No question.
All right, so Aquinas versus Rochester Prep. This game was covered by Scott Hines. Shout out to Scott. His daughter, Briar Hines, also plays. She's actually the goalie for Aquinas Soccer. Aquinas 30, Rochester Prep 6. AJ Orr, 78 yards, 3 touchdowns, rushing, 27 yards, 2 touchdowns. Briar Hines, Stella Duffy, Blessing Mohammed, each with a touchdown reception. Stella Duffy is actually a hockey player playing flag football. Briar Hines is a soccer player playing flag football. Blessing Mohammed is a basketball player playing flag football. That's why I love flag football. Kamara Scott, 6 flag poles, 5 sacks. Blessing also had 8 flag poles. Jaden Demick, Juliana Kungwa with an interception. Gerard, this game, so we're going to go right into the next game because this is the game we covered. Shout out to Scott Hines for covering that one. Aquinas versus Bishop Kearney. Bishop Kearney 2 years ago, Coach Fitch, was the state champions. So they got some of those same girls on the team. But Aquinas, I'm telling you, AJ, passing. Jordan, talk about this game.
Yeah, AJ Orr, she's having a tremendous season.
Yeah.
She's Player of the Year in basketball. Just a tremendous athlete. Well, Aquinas got the 39-13 win in this game. They're undefeated at the time. At this time, they only allowed one TD touchdown in each game prior to this one. AJ Orr, as we were talking about, she passed 13 for 22 for 189 yards and a touchdown. She had 13 rushes for 51 yards and 3 touchdowns. Blessing Muhammad, another athlete, she had 1 carry for 35 yards and a touchdown. And on defense, she's a terror. 8 flag pulls and 1 interception. Jade Ferrara, she had 1 rush, but she made it count, 72 yards for a touchdown. Briar Hines, that girl, she's got hands. She could play.
She's the goalie. That's why she got hands.
And she could punt because she's a soccer goalie. That's what they do. I mean, some of these soccer girls, they be kicking it 35, 40-yard punts. She had 4 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. And Savannah Sweet, big-time soccer player, 6 flag pulls, and Josie Fleming with 5 flag pulls.
Savannah Sweet, that's my girl.
Yeah.
She is, her confidence level. So this team is an interesting team. They got sectional winners in soccer. They went to states, won states. They're the sectional winners in basketball. And they got some track athlete that went to states. So that team consists of like sectionals, regionals, and state champions. They're going to be a tough, it's their first year at flag. I don't know what they were waiting for to get a flag team, because there's some teams, there's some schools, the moment flag came, I'm like, that school definitely. And that was one of the schools, them and Hornell, because they had so many athletes. I was like, so when they just got it, I'm like, Bianchi, what was you waiting for, bro? Like, this is
They're loaded.
They're loaded with athletes. They just happen to have athletes on, and they got the 39-13 win. They also won last night. So they are undefeated on the season, and they're in a class with Mercy. They're in a class, it's going to be an interesting game between them and Mercy. Put it that way. And we're going to talk about why in a minute, because Gerard loved the Mercy team. So go ahead, Gerard. We're going to go off to Mercy versus Finney.
Yeah, Mercy traveled to Finney, who's defending.
No, Finney traveled to Mercy, didn't they?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Finney traveled to Mercy. And Finney, they're the defending sectional champions.
Yeah, they're a smaller class.
Yeah.
But they got Lucy Broom. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
Their quarterback is really good. They got some talent on that team, some athletes. But Mercy pulled it out 20-7. Both teams were undefeated coming into this game. But for Mercy, Laura Colston and Jayana Willis, they connected for all 3 TDs in the game. Valeda White and Brooklyn Albritton, they had 13 pulls. And Evelyn Odell with an interception with 6:50 to go in the 4th to seal the win. Jayana Willis.
Man, we're going to talk about her more later.
Yeah, she had 100 yards offensively.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and
Mackenzie Stuttenberg,
She had an extra point. Nice play on the extra point. And Arwen Gomez with the extra point. Lucy Broom, she's a freshman with the lone TD for Finney, who suffered their first loss. Like we said, Finney's playing upper class.
Yes, they are.
Taking on Mercy.
They are really, really good. So let's go to Penfield versus Hilton Flag. Wow. This game, all I'm going to say, Coach, y'all, Fairport, you see Hilton, because Fairport played them and you were at that game, so you know. But Penfield got the 20-14 win. Listen, this game was so good, it went down to literally the last second. Go ahead, Gerard.
Yeah. Penfield came, actually Hilton won the game 20-14. Amazing game. Now, remember, Penfield won sectionals all 3 years that they've played.
All 3 years.
Yeah.
They got the Poocha sisters. I call them the Poocha sisters. She's the quarterback. I think the sister's in 9th grade. They just got soccer players. They got a wrestler on the team. They're stacked. Very good and very well coached.
Yeah. Hilton, Penfield was up 14-7 entering the 4th quarter.
Yep.
but Hilton scored 13 points in the final minute 53 of the fourth quarter. And that happened because they got the ball with about 5 minutes left in their midfields. They marched it down the field. And Paige Dean, the quarterback, she had a quarterback keeper to run it in to cut the lead to 14-13. And then on the extra point, Paige, she threw it to Maya Miles, and who was outstanding in the end.
Game, yeah.
She caught it, and she just pitched it back to Ramos, Nalaya Ramos, who ran it in to tie the game. So that was a minute 53 seconds to go.
So then, with 32 seconds, Amaya Miles connected in the end zone, right? Paige Dean was connected. Amaya Miles got the winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Paige Dean Gerard was 14 for 29, 168 yards passing, a touchdown, 12 rushes, 51 yards with 2 touchdowns. Amaya had 5 catches, 47 yards, a touchdown, and an extra point. But that touchdown won the game.
Yeah.
That touchdown, she just snatched that up. She must.
Yeah.
She must. Listen.
And we say basketball players.
Yeah.
First of all, they jump.
They jump.
Right. And second of all, they got good hands. You know,
and she did.
It was like a rebound for her.
For her.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
She just jumped over the defender.
Yep.
Caught it and ran it in with 23 seconds left.
She used her basketball skills on that play for sure. Elena Vela has 7 flag poles, 3 for a loss. Their defense was absolutely on point. Their defensive coordinator talked about that in the interview. Their defense was stellar. Amelia Sloan with an interception. Nyla Ramos had 9 flag poles. Penfield Pucha, she is a talent. Penfield ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
They just got stunned by Hilton, but they are not going.
Yeah, that game could have went either. They could have easily won that game.
Anywhere, absolutely anywhere. So we got to talk now. So now we're gonna go to Coach Fitch. So let me do a proper introduction to Coach Fitch. So we got Coach Fitch, Fairport head coach, USA basketball 17U coach, and also I call it. Listen, when you're coaching on the court that have your family's name, you're different. And I keep saying that. So, Coach Fitch, let me first say this. First of all, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking time out. You've got to be so busy on a Thursday to take a Thursday morning to come and take some time out to come sit with us for an hour and just do some sports and just have some fun with us on the podcast. But you have been coaching this is your 25th year, right, at Fairport?
Yeah.
And before that, your dad did how many years?
33.
Not a monopoly at all over there. Not a monopoly. Almost 60 years there's been a Fitch as the head coach. No monopoly at all. So you are a girl and your son plays, right? Your son plays basketball.
Yeah, son played JV this year for us, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So before I even go into anything else, what's it like? Are you nervous coaching your son? That you're going to have to coach your son?
Yeah, you just want it to be a great experience for him. And I felt my dad, looking back at my career, being able to play for my dad is something special. There's not many kids get a chance to play for their dad. So, number one, I want to make sure it's the right fit for him, and he wants me to coach him. Otherwise, I'd get away and get out of his way. I think we're in a good place. But then you just want it to be a special experience. You want it to be something he looks back at and is extremely proud of. So if I can provide that, I'd be a happy dad.
Now, as a coach, do you think that you're a little bit tougher on... Gerard was tough on Ant. Tough on Ant. There's times where this is a real story. So Anthony's checking in the game. I'm doing the book. Anthony's checking into the game. He turned to me with a straight face. I think he was probably like 10, 11 years old and says, I don't think the coach likes me. I mean, your dad? You mean your dad?
Right.
Your dad?
Right.
You mean your dad? Like, they would literally get into fights on the way home. And when he was maybe 12, 13, he dropped. This one was, they were going at it. Anthony dropped.
I was a good dad coach. Come on.
No. I have a point with this. 36 points Anthony dropped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And it was a Greece kid. I cannot remember this kid. Him and Ant battled.
Brown-haired kid for Greece Athena.
Greece Athena, right? They battled every year. In AAU, the same. They're battling, sure. Right? Anthony dropped 36 against this kid.
Yeah.
The kid dropped 32 against Ant. Ant got in the car. They got the win.
And he's real humble, but this time,
but they've been battling. So he's really a humble kid. Ant, right? So he got in the car. Yeah, I gave him 36. And then Gerard just turned around in the backseat and says, but he gave you 32. You got 4 points. you got 4 points.
Right.
And he just started crying. Like, what do you mean? Gerard said he scored 32 on you, though.
Right.
So literally, you only really net 4 points. And that was an eye opener. And Anthony was in middle school.
Sure.
And Gerard it's a big thing for him with defense. Like, people care about offense and points. Gerard never really cared about that more than defense with Ant.
Right.
So I thought that was, Gerard's like, no, you had 4 points. Do you have that kind of same attitude with your kids, pointing things like that out?
Yeah, I think there's, a couple things. Number one is tough love. Like, you have higher expectations for your kid. They know the way you interact. They know what's important to you. So, Ant knew defense was important to him, so that 32 stings a little bit more. But I would also say this, like, when I went to college, I think it's a great parent just lesson. Yeah, I went to Geneseo and I was able to be successful right away. I was very lucky, stepped into an amazing situation. But I'd step out of the game, and the first thing my dad would do was tell me the 4 or 5 things I did wrong. And I could have had, 26 points and played a great game. But he wants you to be great. And my mom stepped in and said, he wants to hear from you, but it's got to be when he's ready to hear it. And so our rule became that he couldn't tell me the things to improve on until I asked him. Because I wanted to know. I respected him a ton. But there's also a time when you're ready to hear it. And I think a lot of times as parents, the kid comes off, they're emotional, and we're telling them what they could have done better. And it kind of, makes for a tough relationship. So I thought that was a great, teaching point by my mom, and it saved my dad's and my relationship. So.
And your dad still goes to every game.
Every game, every practice.
Does he still tell you what you did
Hell
wrong?
Yeah, he does. And you want to know what's even better is I'm coaching at the USA national level, and we'll win a game. We were down in Mexico, and we win a game, and he came down to the tryouts, so my other assistant coaches got to meet him. And right after the game, they're like, check your phone. We got to see what your dad said. So like he still does it, even at the national. And we could have won by 50. And
this is NBA guys you're coaching.
This is crazy, right? But it also drives me to be better, and I know how to take it. And so it's been really special to share all my experiences with them. I feel like that's been one of the things I've cherished the most.
Yeah.
So you are a USA basketball. You are probably, out of anybody in Section 5 as a coach more NBA players.
Not no probably. Absolutely.
Than anybody else. How do you adjust? How do you adjust coaching at the high school level? You had a talented team this year, obviously, to coaching the boozers of the world. Like, how do you adjust? Do you adjust your coaching style?
Yeah, when I started, I didn't know, I'm showing up, and my first year was Zion Williamson. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Why is this guy going to listen to me? Like, he doesn't know me from anybody, But I went in with the same attitude, and it's funny, you pour into him with great energy, and I have the same standards. I still expect them to play extremely hard, doesn't matter who they are. And they got a raise to that. And even though these kids are ultra talented, they've gotten away on their athleticism a lot of times. So if you can teach them the skill set and the nuances, now it takes them to another level. And I think once they found out I could help them get better, they're all in. I remember my first camp, I had a kid stay after the first practice, and I helped him with a shot. And the next practice came in, and he just banged. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was really what I showed him, but he banged. And right after it, all the guys were like, Coach, can you help me with a shot? Everybody in the gym wanted me to help them then. And these kids want to be special. They want to be elite. And when they find out you can make them better, then they're all in. And it's been a really special experience. I'm very blessed to coach there. I mean, I know that. I'm grateful for it every day. But on the same token, I still got to try and bring something to the table to help them get better, as a player and also USA basketball in general.
Now, you've coached a ton of stars who are in the NBA right now. Can you tell me,
I have probably 60, 70 NBA guys right now, probably. Scotty Barnes and Jalen Suggs, Isaiah Stewart, Evan Mobley, Okoro, Jalen Green, Zion. I mean,
and you're missing some real good ones too.
I've been really lucky, man. Yeah, I've been really lucky for sure. And they've been,
they've been lucky too. They've been lucky too.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think it's sometimes, we forget as coaches, all those guys have impacted me, So while hopefully I'll make an impact on them, I think the players impact the coach sometimes even more. And I think that's the fulfilling part about coaching, is that you're constantly getting impacted by your players.
So real quick, I know I don't want to get in trouble. What player have you coached and you just look and says, man, give me a couple players and you're like, they look different in person, man. Like they're just on what you're seeing on TV is what you're seeing, but man, they are fun to coach or fun to watch. Is there any player that jumped out? I mean, 60 NBA players, they probably all jump out, but is there anyone?
Well, I think, I think their body type, when I first got there, I was like, oh, this is what the NBA looks like. I mean, like these kids are freaks, and they're like, we just had a camp at Indy. We had a 7'4", 16-year-old. I mean, think about it, 7'4". I mean,
and he moves well.
And he moves pretty well. And you're like, it was, the girl that plays for UCLA, the Betts girl.
Yeah.
Lauren Betts, it's her brother. And,
Oh wow. That's right.
And he's come a long ways, and I love him. But like you see him, and you're like, you think 7'4", he looks like a man. I mean, but then they talk, and you're like, oh, you're only 16, right? Like,
okay, that's a 16-year-old.
Right, so it's pretty funny. Back to your question, I talked to the USA guys this week when I was there in India about changing the room. I think there's a few guys that change the room when they come in. I think special people do. And I thought Isaiah Stewart changed the room when he walked in. He was going to compete. So you better be ready to be competitive,
Yep.
Jalen Suggs was another guy that played so hard. We had to have a trainer watch him because we thought he was going to play himself to exhaustion. And all these people, everybody thinks they play hard. But how many people have really fainted because they played so hard, right?
Wow.
So my thing is you get more to give. You had more to give. And Jalen Suggs took it to that level. And so I think guys like that are special because they changed the room.
You know what? So you have had an incredible, incredible season this year. And what you do is you change your coaching style by the athletes you have. I've watched you. You've beaten my son a couple of times when he was at McQuaid.
He's beaten me too, so it goes both ways, but yeah.
And first of all, I know you ran into him. You and him were at the Final Four, and you gave Anthony some advice because Anthony's a trainer, is a national trainer. So first of all, thank you for that because he respects everything that you have to say. He was so excited. Like, I ran into Coach Fitch. I picked his brain. So thank you for, giving him some advice, in his next journey. But huge season for you. Your style of coaching goes by the athletes. Talk about this, how special this season was, and some of the guys. Noah Maybon might be the freakiest of natures I've ever seen play the game of volleyball. Basketball wasn't much different. He made AGR, all of that. Talk about this season and that journey.
Yeah, it was an incredible journey. I think Noah in particular, he didn't even play the last 2 years. So for him to come in, organize basketball, and then play at a high level just speaks to the athlete that he is. But we had a unique situation. We had kids that were great athletes. They have a higher ceiling in other sports, but they love to play basketball. And I think each year as a high school coach, you got to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then try and be great at it. And this year we had a competitive group, so we played a fun style. We got up and down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't boring. I think everybody came to watch us play, wanted to see us play again, just because it was fun. But it speaks to the players being able to buy into a team environment. I think because they had other sports, they came and really played for the joy of playing together. And it made it fun to coach because you had kids that were super high energy, super competitive, but also just loving to be there and play with each other. So it was a really special environment.
I joke around all the time. I told Gerard, I said, he's got a bunch of guys that are not even basketball players, right? Yeah. You got a soccer star, you got a volleyball star, you have all these stars in other sports that's just dominating Section 5 basketball, and that gives you guys a lot of credit. But more than anything else, Culver, who's the basketball player, he was the brains, and so talk about him. I love his game.
Yeah, and as much as you have all these other players, you've got to have some constant guys that know what's going on. And Gannon and Hattie were the two guys, and Gannon was our motor though. And going in, we didn't even know who was going to play point guard, really.
Wow.
And Gannon just kind of took the reins, and he was the motor that kind of kept us going. And while the other guys were adjusting back to basketball, he found his voice, and I thought the leadership piece, and that was a piece that one of the things I'm most proud of with him is him becoming a leader and finding his voice. So very special kid, but also I think really important to our team. He became the kid we couldn't take off the floor, which I would have never thought that maybe 8 months ago.
Wow. So Gerard, go ahead. You want to asking about refereeing, so go ahead.
Oh, yeah. A couple of things I wanted to ask you. Refereeing, like I've said, in Section 5, they call things pretty tight. Mm-hmm. Then you go to other areas, other sections, and in the championship game, real physical game. Yeah. And I think that's something that you guys hadn't quite seen before, not to that level, because Chris CBA, they were really physical. Yeah. How do you adjust to that on the fly?
Yeah, it's hard. You try and have your practices be a little bit more physical, because you don't want to be blindsided by it. And I thought each game got more physical.
Yeah.
And in CBA they let us play, and I thought it hurt us early because we couldn't even move off the ball. They were grabbing us and holding a little bit, within the rules, but they were extremely physical. And so I thought as the game went on, then we decided, all right, let's make it a street fight. We made a street fight, and that's when we came back.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think our officials are the best in the state.
Yep.
But I think we do maybe have to let us play a little bit more, maybe so we are prepped when we get outside. But I think part of that happens in the NCAA's too. I think as you go in the tournament, it gets more and more physical too. So I'm not sure that's really an area that's different than any other. Like even the NBA playoffs, you watch them; they're going to get more physical in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think it's part of the nature of the beast of that. But credit to our officials. We have the best. When we get out of the section, I get reminded every time how good our officials are. So
I'll say it. They ain't gonna believe I'm gonna say this, but yeah, because I gave them hell when I was a coach. Yeah. By the way, do you know that Scott Fitch is the original Austin Reeves?
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I don't know where that came from. I'm not sure about
I
that.
see some similarities in your game.
I'll take that. He's dropping 30 a game NBA. That's pretty good. I'll definitely take that.
Well, you were All-American in college, and
Yeah, it was all right.
and you had a chance to play, invited to NBA camp.
Yeah, I had I was blessed because at the D3 level, sometimes you don't get those looks, and I actually thought about transferring to the Big East my junior year, and then I ended up staying, and I got National Player of the Year, which put you on the radar a little bit, so I got looks with the Sonics and a little bit with the Knicks, and I've had a blessed career, and I played in Spain a little bit, so I've been very lucky.
Real quick, before we end this segment, because more than anything else, you are a social media guru when it comes on to giving advice to athletes about social media. We got about 2 minutes, Coach. Can you just give some advice as far as social media? You came to our camp, you did a presentation. Kids still talk about it. Talk about social media, especially with athletes.
Well, I think, number one, you're the social media guru, not me. So, I'm not making a living on social media, but I had some players that got impacted by their social media. And so when that happened, I wanted to make an impact on it. I just saw too many kids that were getting hurt by it. And so I've partnered with BOCES. I go and speak to student assemblies and schools throughout the state, and in some camps and different situations. But I think it's real. I think it's in their world. It's in our world. We've given these kids this amazing tool. Social media is so cool when you look at it. But our kids think short term. Like our kids are thinking minute to minute, right? Like they move, but yet the social media has a lifelong impact on them. And so the more voices they can hear, the different stories they can hear and relate to, I'm hoping that I can impact some kids in some way.
Can you give an example, without really being specific?
Well, I had 2 kids getting recruited, and then the coach called me and said, we're going to keep recruiting this one, but not this other one. And I'm like, why? And he's like, the stuff on the social media, we don't want our university. And I was like, well, we can't, I'm having kids lose opportunities like that. And then, we've had situations where wrestlers videotaping in the locker room, and they put it on social media and it goes viral. Now the whole season's done. This kid's arrested. I mean, it has this huge impact, but yet they just don't think about it. They think minute to minute. And I totally get that. But good kids make bad decisions all the time. The problem on social media is that bad decisions can impact the rest of their life, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we could end it there with Coach Fitch, because that is an absolute truth to that, because we see it all the time and every day. We shout out, thank you, Fitch, for coming in. As I said before, when you coach on the court where they have your name on it, you are it, right? So we're going to go into Gerard's pick before we run out of time. So
All right. Just want to really quick touch on what he said. Good people make bad decisions sometimes. June 29th, 1996.
But we're going to go right into Gerard's pick. We're running out of time.
I said I do.
You're running out of time, so go ahead. So Gerard's
my pick is the Mercy Girls flag football team. That girl right there, number 10, Wilson.
Yep.
Man, she is one of the most talented people we've seen this year. That girl can play. Laura Colston, a great quarterback. She can throw and run. They're a very talented team. And to beat Affinity team as decisively as they did, that's my pick of the week.
So for Gianna, Willis, she went 100 yards. She had 3 touches. She had all the touchdowns, right? And Laura Colston was actually on the sectional winning basketball team.
Right.
So I want to make sure for your pick, we give them the kudos that they deserve. So congratulations to the Mercy Girls flag football team. Jayana Willis, 3 touchdowns. Laura Colston, the quarterback, threw it to her. You guys are Gerard's pick. Yes. Now for Karen's pick. My pick is a little bit different this year. I went out and I did youth sports. So Coach Fitch, I started off with like 7 to 12, 13-year-olds, from 7 years old on up. And my pick is the entirety of our youth sports that's out there, keeping these kids busy. The RISE program for flag football. There is
Valenci's
Valenti
tournament.
rap tournament. There's all kinds of stuff. And being in that moment this past weekend, I was there Saturday and Sunday. I realized how important and it is imperative for us to make sure that we are keeping kids busy, that youth sports stay as pure as it can. And that's when it's purest, before it gets messy, right? Like what Coach Fitch was saying, before it gets messy. And I really appreciated sports more than anything else, covering youth sports, covering regular sports, but I appreciated sports more when I went out in the field doing the 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. So the Karen's pick is the entirety of our youth sports program. So
including soccer.
Yeah, soccer. Oh, and Lemke went and covered soccer out at it's owned by the Morgan Stearns. They're out there, the athletic complex.
On Rush Admitted Town Line Road.
Yeah, they have a great complex. They have a ton of youth sports, but it made me appreciate sports more than anything else is youth sports.
Yeah,
So,
because I remember when Anthony was just a kid,
Yep.
3rd grade. That game that weekend was the most important thing in our lives. that day.
yeah. So the entirety of youth sports in Section 5, you are Karen's pick. So we got about 45 seconds left to wrap it up around Section 5. Coach Fitch, you have a daughter that is on her way to college, right?
Yeah, she's going to college next year. It's crazy.
Is that different for you? That's like, man, I got to send my daughter off to the world. That's different.
Yeah, but she's ready. You know, I think each kid's different, right? My son might be a very different situation, but she's ready to be challenged. She's ready to take on the world. So we're excited for her, for sure.
Is she going to do any tennis at all in college? I know she's a great tennis player.
Yeah, she might do club basketball as well. So
Okay.
she's kind of feeling it out. Very driven academically and going into the financial program at Bucknell. So,
Oh, nice.
Bucknell. Wow.
Yeah.
So she got mom's brains, huh?
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. It was funny when we were in our college visits, we stepped off one campus. She's like, I need to be a place like this that pushes me academically. And I was like, I looked at Kim, I said, I never said that walking on my
That
campus.
one day.
Yeah, I'm like, that's amazing. So, heck yeah.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you for joining us, Coach Fitch. Julio is in studio, our producer, and Jake. Shout out to all my team, Jake Scottney, Anna Lemke, and of course, Z705. This is the Primetime 5 Fed podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.